maybe we'll get going then. For the people online, you can mute your audio and turn off your video until the Q&A at the end of the presentation. If you have a question, you can use the chat. Handouts are out on the club website. I don't know if Jim, if you had I know Jim's been running around and
I was letting people in, but copies of the handout.
okay. So Jim's handing out handouts. Jim will post it up to the chat also after we get going, I think. Okay, our agenda today, we'll first cover some club status, and then we'll get to our main topic. So our meeting format, for those of you who are here, I think everybody's got their sub. Eat your sub. If you can hold your questions till the end, that'll work better for the people online and for everybody there. I want a big thank you to Paula, who organized the ordering of the subs and all the stuff, and Chuck for the cookies and the water there. So thank you. And just a note too, the board has been talking about the in-person meetings, and it looks like we'll probably try having an in-person meeting, meaning in the meeting room over there or this meeting room. We'll try and have it maybe every other month. And then we'll coordinate that with some of the sandwich stuff and some of the other things that we have going on. But for some of the earlier meetings, when we were having it every month, we'd end up with maybe 2 people that would show up. So we thought we still want people to get together. We just don't want to inconvenience Paula and some of the other people with getting people signed up and into the rooms and that. But we will continue probably every other month there. Our future meetings, there is a MACSIG coming up this Friday, April 19th. The agenda, usually they go through the updates on Windows, new products coming out, things like that. Everyone's welcome to join that. Our next question and answer online session is May 7th, Tuesday, May 7th. And our next general meeting, which will be online only, won't have an option for in here, will be May 15th. The topic will be Save and Spend Online Safely by myself, Tom Kreuzer. We'll be talking about banking, peer-to-peer payments, the digital wallets, and budgets. So some software, some options on the phone for doing all these things. And it doesn't have to be just the phone either. If you've got a laptop or a desktop, there's ways to do almost all these things that way too. I'll mention this. Last year, I know a number of you attended. We had our summer celebration. We didn't have a picnic. The picnics are a lot of work and cost us a lot of money, so we kind of changed our direction. And last year we tried a dinner celebration, a summer celebration at Green Mill, and we scheduled it this year. So if you want to put a hold on your calendar for Wednesday, July 17th from 4:30 to 6:30, we'll have our summer celebration there. And there'll be more details about this later. And this is information from last year, but it looks like we'll probably have about the same thing as we did last year there. And I know we haven't officially started summer yet, and we're already talking about the end of summer celebration, but we thought people can get it on their calendar and that. It's the 3rd Wednesday of July there. Okay, officers, Jim over here is our president. Linda, no, I guess Linda didn't make it today there. Yeah, we got another Linda, but unless you're going to be AI generated in that, We've got Paul. Paul Ebert is over here, our membership secretary. Paula, who graciously ordered the food and coordinates with the room, and that is here. Chuck, where Chuck's right there. Chuck is our recording secretary and cookie wrangler. And Mike Griffin leads the MaxSig. Andrew didn't make it. Something must have come up. He was going to try and make it there. My name is Tom Kreuzer, and we couldn't do it without the volunteers there.
Andrew
Members old and new, you can pay your dues to Paul over there. Especially note if you are changing your email, be sure and notify us because that's the way we keep in touch with people. So we had some people with the divestiture at 3M, the solventum or whatever. Again, if you're changing emails or retiring or things like that, make sure and let us know because that's the way we keep in touch. Suggestions for topics, you can email your ideas or topics, talk to any of the board members. We're always looking for people to volunteer or present on hardware or software that they use at home or work. And last month we had Jim Beardsley talk about photos, and so it's always nice to have a demonstration of what other people are using and how they're using it there. Website, you'll find our past meeting slides and handouts. We also have our meeting recordings, our deal section, our e-bites, our monthly e-bites, and the link is always sent on our emails. Also on your handout, the little QR code, if you scan that with your phone, you can go right to the PC Club website too. Or does it go to my cryptocurrency account? Put in your money and transfer it to me. Okay, let's get to our main topic, which is Scams and Cyber Threats 2. The reason it's 2 is we did do scams last year, August of 2023, and so we won't be covering a lot of the stuff that was covered in there. If you haven't seen that or don't recall it, you can go out to our website and look at the past handout and the past video recording of what's out there. So this kind of adds on a little more detail in some areas and a few other new things that have come up. Okay, scams. Everybody is somebody to an online scammer. You may think you're a nobody, too small to be worth criminals' time. Not so. Everybody is susceptible. Technology has made scams so nearly effortlessly that everybody is an attractive mark. It doesn't cost any money to send out emails or to send texts, and so everybody gets bombarded with these things. But while anybody can be a victim, it's important to remember that everybody can take steps to better protect themselves online. To online scammers, you're not a nobody, you're an opportunity. Let's talk about how to minimize, monitor, and manage your way to better safety for your data, your identity, and your money. Okay. Scammers are difficult to stop because they're continually perfecting their scams. They take advantage of tech innovation and honing their methods to better manipulate their targets. We keep coming up with different tools to combat scams and fraud, but it's just like playing whack-a-mole, says Better Business Bureau spokesman Josh Planos. Scammers have become much more adept at impersonating legitimate institutions, including creating websites and messages that are carbon copies of the legitimate, whether it's healthcare providers, businesses, banks, with fewer grammatical errors and mistakes on the site, and other red flags, according to Planos. And criminals are not only taking advantage of technological innovations such as artificial intelligence, they're also growing ever more adept at psychological manipulations. Almost all these things deal with your psyche, your sense of urgency. Oh, they get you worried that you click or you call or you do things because you're worried. Was there a charge to my credit card? Was somebody trying to get into my Facebook account? They understand all these psychological manipulations. So the sense of urgency is one. The other big one is give you a prize or a reward. You've won. You've won $100 or a set of AirPod. All you have to do is click. They know that people like to win, and they know how to manipulate people. Okay, one of the big ones out there, and we hadn't talked about before, so I thought I'd spend some time, is charity scams. Americans contributed $319 billion to charities in 2022. This generosity supports many amazing organizations that put these billions to work for healthcare, education, environmental protection, the arts, and many other great causes. Unfortunately, it also opens the door for scammers who capitalize on donors' goodwill to line their pockets. Charity scammers are especially active during the holidays, the biggest giving season of the year. Now, we're past the holidays, but it's going to be coming up again this year. Some sham charities succeed by mimicking the real thing. Like genuine nonprofits, they reach you either by the phone, a phone call, direct mail, email, and even door to door. So you'll see these scammers in all kinds of ways. They might make appeals on social media and create well-designed websites with deceptive names. First, let's take a look. This is from an AARP article, 1-minute video on how to avoid some of the scams. So let's see if this works here, if modern technology works.
Hey, Tom, I don't know if you wanted to, but these are room microphones. You can turn yours on. I'm fine. I don't know about other people.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Nope, that works there. So let's take a look at this video. This video is from AARP.
Charity scammers are especially active around holidays and when a natural disaster strikes. With a little research and a few precautions, you can make sure your donations go to organizations that are genuinely serving others and not just helping themselves. Pay attention to the charity's name and web address. Scammers often mimic the names of familiar, trusted organizations to deceive donors. Don't give in to high-pressure tactics to give right away or agree to make donations by gift card or wire transfer. Those are red flags that a charity isn't legit. Check how watchdogs like Charity Navigator and the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance rate the organization before you make a donation. If you can spot a scam, you can stop a scam. For more tips, go to aarp.org/fraudwatchnetwork.
Okay, so those are just some quick tips, a quick overview from AARP. Many of these charity scams operate fully outside the law. Others are, in fact, registered nonprofits, but devote little to no money that they raise to the program that they promote. And that's really the scam. You think you're helping a good organization, and next to nothing goes to helping the children or climate change or whatever cause you have. Some create massive fundraising networks, often in the form of political action committees or PACs. These entities that can solicit money on behalf of the charity or political candidate or cause that they use as cover while requesting donations purportedly for various causes. These PACs or a number of the scams are just kind of front office operations to get people to donate money. They end up keeping the bulk of the cash themselves. So for every dollar that you donate, maybe 5 cents of that is actually going to the cause that you really want to support. And that's a scam. 2 men who created PACs, including one called Americans for the Cure of Breast Cancer, who's not against curing breast cancer, were recently arrested and indicted on charges of colluding in a multi-year scam in which they stole millions of dollars from misled donors. With a little research and a few precautions, you can ensure your donations go to organizations that are genuinely serving and not funding scammers. So let's talk about some of the warning signs that you see in these charity scams. First, there's usually a pressure to give immediately, whether it's on the telephone or text or an email. Yes, Al?
I think in the U.S. almost all legitimate charities have to have an EIN number. Do you know if they exist for most of these?
We'll get into some of that because actually, I mentioned it a little bit earlier that a number of these organizations are registered 501(c) corporations, nonprofit. They filed with the IRS. You can file with the IRS. I can create Tom's Save the Cat organization, and I can collect money from you, and 100% of that money goes to me, Tom Kreuzer. None of it goes to saving the cats. And that's all legitimate. So you have a ton of what I would call scammers, because they are scammers, and well, I'll show you how you can check out organizations. My dad's a sucker for it. For those that don't know, my dad's still alive. He donates to some organizations, and if you donate to some organizations, you're going to get hundreds of emails and letters in the mail and telephone calls, and that for these other organizations trying to get you to donate also. But one of the signs is pressure to give. Legitimate charities will welcome your donation whenever you choose to make it. So it's not this pressure of, we need your money, our matching donation is about to expire. There's a ton of scams like that. Thank you for a donation. You may get an email thanking you for your donation, or a card in the mail that says, thank you for your donation. And that you may not have donated to that organization, but they know psychologically you seeing that, and you go, well, I don't recall it, but I must have. Maybe I'll send them another $50 or $100 or whatever there. So there's a ton of unscrupulous fundraisers. You get a request for payment for cash, gift cards, or wire transfers. Those are definitely a scam. Scammers' favorite payment method because it's difficult to undo or to trace. So how can you protect yourself? Well, AARP mentioned a number of things. You can check the watchdogs such as Charity Navigator, Charity Watch, the Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance. Rate all these organizations before making a donation. You can also contact your state's charity regulator to verify the organization is registered to raise money. And what we can do is, you can't click on your sheet here, your piece of paper, but if you do go out to the website, you can. These are links. You can click on them, and they'll take you to them. Or just do a Google search on Charity Navigator and go to their site. So let's go out to the Charity Navigator site. And it lets you put in the name of the organization that you're looking for or want to check out. And I'm going to check out one called Kids Wish Network. So here's Kids Wish Network. There's only one out here. I can get more detail on it by clicking on here. And this goes into a lot of detail. This talks about whether they're a 501c organization, whether they filed with the IRS, things like that. Then it rates them, and it rates them on 1 to 4 stars. This is considered a 1-star organization. I would not donate to them. Number one, you probably have heard of Make-A-Wish. This is trying to scam people away from Make-A-Wish, and use that. Donate to Make-A-Wish. Donate to the Kids Wish Network, and this will tell you where it's organized, where it's filed for taxes and stuff like that. Rating: this is poor, and the 51% doesn't mean that 51% of their money went to the organization or to the kids there. This is just how they rate the different organizations from 0 to 100. This has all kinds of detail, accountability and finance, culture. You can look up all this stuff, and then it starts rating them. Well, accountability, well, they do file. They file with the federal government. They do have, so they are getting points from this rating system because they do file. It's just that they don't do good things with the money. So yes, they are taxed. You can write them off on your income tax, and they do file stuff. Disclosures, all of a sudden, well, they're not real deal there. What are their liabilities to assets? How much do they spend on fundraising and things like that? Well, any organization that's spending more money on fundraising is not an organization that I want to donate to. I want to donate to organizations that will use my money in the best way possible. So to check out any organization, I highly recommend doing this. The other is Charity Watch, Better Business Bureau. So there are all of these sites and places where you can check out. Do your own research. So Google the place. Don't believe it. Oh, sure.
Just a quick question. Would that also work for like individual churches and stuff?
Yeah, the question was, does this also work for individual churches? It depends on how big and whether they've investigated it. So you could try it. Certainly some of the bigger churches or organizations are going to be there. Some of the smaller organizations aren't. And we'll talk about some other things a little bit later too, like some of the GoFundMe stuff. There's a ton of GoFundMe stuff. Of that ton of GoFundMe things, this much is probably legitimate. Just a small portion. And I run into too many people that I want to help them out and I want to do this, and all of a sudden I do a simple Google search on the person or that, and I find out that this is the 10th GoFundMe that they've had in the last couple of years. So watch out for scams. Help good people and good organizations. Don't help the scammers. Pay attention to the charity's name and web addresses, because again, one of the common things is create a organization that's close to a legitimate one, and people will think they're the same organization or affiliated with it. Well, they aren't. I can buy a URL for next to nothing. I can create a website that looks exactly like Save the Cats and Dogs and use all of their pictures, and it takes me all of 10 minutes to replicate their entire website there. Keep a record of your donations and regularly review your credit card account to make sure you weren't charged more than you agreed to give or unknowingly signed up for reoccurring donations. Some people think they're giving $100 and they don't read the fine print, and they've given them their credit card or their the checking account information, and every month you're going to see that $100 being deducted. Don't give personal information or financial information such as your social security number, date of birth, or bank account numbers to anyone soliciting a donation. Scammers use that data to steal money and identities. Don't click on links or unsolicited emails, text, or fundraising messages on social media platforms. They can unleash malware or viruses, guaranteed. What are some more resources out there? The Internal Revenue Service maintains an online database where you can check whether an organization is a registered charity or if your donation will be tax deductible. You can report suspected fraud to the FTC and to the government agency in your state that regulates charities. And this again lists some of those earlier links there. The Better Business Bureau's Wise Giving Alliance, Charity Navigator, Charity Watch, and GuideStar provide a bevy of researches on charitable organizations, ratings, and financial and tax information. I also recommend, I listen, AARP has a weekly podcast. It's just for scams. And one of the scams was podcast number 176. And I'm sure a lot of you will remember this a few years ago. There was a woman in Chicago supposedly driving home at night, and her car broke down on the freeway, and she was stranded on the freeway. And this homeless veteran came up to her, and he only to his name $20, and he gave the woman $20 so she could go down to the gas station and get her car fixed. And it made the national news, made all the news all over. They started a GoFundMe for the homeless veteran. They were going to get the homeless veteran a home and everything like that. They generated $450,000 in the GoFundMe. The homeless veteran claims he only got about $10,000, so he started blowing the whistle on them and saying, I'm not getting the money. Well, they started investigating. The couple had met with this homeless veteran before everything occurred there, had agreed that they were going to set this stuff up and make some money, and that the homeless veteran was supposed to get half of the money. Well, he wasn't getting half of the money. The other couple had bought Mercedes-Benz. They had gone on trips. They had done all this stuff. And so, yeah, this is an example. Again, it was all over the national news and all the news there. And most people didn't know that it ended up being a scam there. That's why I say a lot of the GoFundMes, as much as people are pulled, their heartstrings are pulled by the stories in that, I'm a doubting Thomas, and I do a little research before I donate. Check out the person, check out the people, check out the situation before you make any donation, because you're not helping anybody by donating money to scammers. You're just encouraging more people to scam is all you're doing there. Okay, some other scams and tips. We'll cover some of the more common ones. We did talk about some of these in the first version, but I've got some different examples and some different things there. Bank scams. Creating a fake version of a bank website is almost effortless for a scammer. I mentioned if I wanted to set up a homeless cat rescue, I could set one up in 5 minutes. I could duplicate a legitimate site, change a few things, and post it up there. So it's really easy to do these things. And if I wanted to duplicate, let's say Wells Fargo or U.S. Bank, it takes me 5 minutes to duplicate their website and their logon screen. I'd capture your information that you were entering in on the logon screen. But I could use all the same graphics. I could use all the same pages. I could do everything there. And then I could send out emails to a bunch of people saying, your account is about to be inactivated. Click here to validate your account, and I could steal your information. These bank, yes.
Related to this, one thing people should do related to the bank accounts is set up alerts on your bank account. So like you get an alert when there's a withdrawal made, okay? And you can set sometimes the limit, you know. So you set it to let's say $2,000 or more than $2,000, you get notified. So you don't get alerts all the time. And another thing too is with bank accounts, you can set up with your bank what's called a security code, so that when you call into the bank, before they do anything, you ask them to do related to your bank account, they ask you for the security code. Okay, and that's just for your safety in that before they make any changes. The other thing too, related to banking, but it's also your investments. And that you're invested in, let's say, Fidelity or Vanguard or something like that. There's also scams, pretty much like Tom is talking about, only in the investment environment, where they'll set up a fake account, and if they have your account numbers, they'll do a request for electronic transfer out of your accounts, and that they can do that. And Fidelity has a feature where you can lock your accounts from any transfer request, and that. So something if you're with Fidelity, you may want to look into that. And then Vanguard, both Fidelity and Vanguard allow you to set up alerts, and you can set up alerts related to withdrawals and that, and you'll get them via text or email. So just kind of related to this topic right here, it's also your investments in Schwab, Fidelity, Vanguard, or whatever. So,
Yeah, for the people online, I'll try and summarize a little bit. The comment was made. Most banks and financial institutions and credit cards will allow you to get notifications, whether they're email or text messages, on withdrawals or deposits or any activity in your account. And we've talked about some of that before, and you'll see it in the previous presentations. And actually, that one where I talk about saving online and stuff like that, I'll bring it up again because it is important to monitor what you have. Don't wait till the end of the month and find out that somebody's been using your credit card or things like that. So it's good to do. You can also set up codes to activate your account with Fidelity. The other thing is to use passcodes or pass keys instead of passwords and two-factor authentication. So all of this environment is changing out there, but there are tools to help you. And in terms of credit cards, we've mentioned before, you want to freeze your credit. So you can go in and freeze your credit. You go to the three companies, Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax, and you can freeze your account so that no new credit cards will be issued, and that's an important thing to do. But yeah, we'll take a look at some other things here. Okay, so it's easy for them to duplicate the website, and that's what fakes people. Yes, Linda.
Regarding freezing accounts, what I'm noticing over the last 3 or 4 years is almost every fuel collecting, from Xcel Energy to Comcast to anything else I have going on in my life, I'm getting these notices that, gee whiz, we just experienced a breach on our records. So we're gonna give you a free year to the credit card companies so you can freeze your account. So now this has become such a frequent thing that millions of people are receiving these announcements with the recommendations of freezing their accounts. So in the end, when all of us have frozen our accounts, what difference does that make for anything, you know?
Because people don't freeze their accounts. In the United States, there's 380 million people that we have here. I would guess that over 300 million don't freeze your account. Freezing your credit. That's different than freezing your bank account. So Excel still gets its money.
These are the three big credit bureaus.
And so
Identity.
they give you a year's worth of service or monitoring, yes.
But it's free to sign up and to basically freeze your account.
Yeah, this is the freezing the account is not signing up for credit monitoring. Credit monitoring costs you money, and I've talked about it before, but I do not recommend credit monitoring. Credit monitoring provides next to no benefit. Costs you money. To me it's a scam by the credit bureaus and stuff like that, because I can go out. I've showed how I can go out and I can check if my email has been involved in a data breach, and I've done that before on past presentations. So I'll put in my account and gee, guess what? My account has been involved in 30 data breaches, legitimate data breaches. Now, am I worried that it's been involved? No, I'm not worried because I change my passwords. I'm careful on what I do. Everybody should be doing that. And I don't need a credit bureau to tell me to do these things. And then the credit bureau, because part of the Equifax, the Experian, was it Experian data breach from 4 years ago?
Yeah.
I got free credit monitoring, and I still have that free credit monitoring. That free credit monitoring, an example there is last month I got an email from them that said my email is out on the dark web. And it did not tell me what other data was out there, and it didn't tell me anything else about it. And I thought, that's completely worthless, because I already knew it was out on the dark web. If you've seen my presentations before, you can go out to a site called haveibeenpawned.com. This haveibeenpawned.com has listed by email addresses the data breaches of this is around the world. I believe the current number of email addresses that have been breached are 12 billion. 12 billion. In the world, there's 8 billion people. So I can guarantee you that almost every single person who has an email address or has had it for more than 6 months, your data is out on the dark web. All you can do is protect your accounts and your things like that by not falling for this. And that's what I'm trying to get the word out, is you have to take an active role. Don't think that paying $29 a month for a package or for monitoring is going to save you. Typically the people who pay that are the same people that get scammed by somebody else, because they get a telephone call, they get an email, oh gee, I better do this, and they start doing things and they get scammed.
You know, another thing related to what Tom was just saying too is when you sign up for these services, they want to protect your assets or your accounts. You end up giving them your account numbers and that, and then you've got someone else now who has your account number, and what if they get hacked?
It's just this tangled web of everybody being told that something's been breached.
But it's still a good idea to freeze your account, freeze your credit.
Freeze your credit.
With the three big credit companies.
So a new credit card could not be issued for me.
Exactly.
Nobody is going to take out a home loan. You couldn't get a loan. You couldn't get a credit card. You couldn't get this stuff while it's frozen.
Right, and that happened to me, I think, about 4 years ago. Some bad guys tried taking out loans in that under my name, and fortunately, I got a letter in the mail. It was from Wells Fargo and the Navy Credit Union, and I've had accounts there in the past, and they tried taking out loans and that, and then I, called them up and said, well, that's not me, kill those, and they did, but they would have had trouble getting the loans because I had a freeze on all 3 of the big credit bureaus. So,
And then when that freeze exists, my understanding is
Oh,
that you could.
yeah,
turn
you
off.
can go out and Google
Right.
it. I'm going to continue on
Okay,
because
sorry.
we're
Yep.
and we'll hold the rest of the questions till the end because we're kind of running late there. But these are the types of messages that you might see, whether it's a text message, whether it's an email, whether it's a telephone call. Oh, we've noticed multiple failed logins. Click here to go in, do this. We've noticed a fraudulent charge. You'll see these things, and that's what you have to be leery of. Text from strangers. When you get a telephone call or somebody you don't know, a natural, polite Minnesota thing to do is to say, sorry, you have the wrong person, or you've texted the wrong person, or sent it to the wrong email. You're best not to respond at all to it. Delete it. Don't mark it. Don't respond back. Don't do anything there. Fake business emails. If you receive an email claiming that there was a suspicious purchase on your account, do not respond or call to the number listed. Instead, go directly to the legitimate company's website, or if it's your bank, look on your statement, or if it's a credit card, on the back of your credit card, there's a telephone number there. Never use the telephone number in the email or the text or anything else, because that's what scammers are counting on, you going to the wrong place. So you can go to the right place. If you're using a password manager, I use Bitwarden. Bitwarden, when I enter in a password, will only enter it in on the legitimate site that I've registered with Bitwarden. So if it went out to U.S. Bank, a fraudulent site, it would not fill in the password on the fraudulent site. So there's hundreds of ways to protect yourself from all these things, and you have to take an active role to make sure that you don't get fooled, because the scammer is counting on you getting fooled there. Social media friend requests. Anytime you get a new friend request on social media, ask yourself, do I really know the person? What does this person want from me? Scammers will friend people if they're trying to steal your identity, because there's a ton of information, birthdays, addresses, schools that you went to, family members, all that stuff out there. Well, you don't have to friend everybody. Just be very cautious who you share your information with.
yeah, I never accept any friend request, period. And what I do is if I want to be a friend with someone, I send them the request, and I never accept one.
Pop-up ads. So you'll see pop-up ads as you're maybe going around the internet. A window will pop up and things like that, and scammers use those very effectively. One of the very effective pop-up messages or that alerts is that your machine has been infected, and you have to call this number or click on this to. It's either from Microsoft or from Apple, and they'll help you clean up your machine. Well, it's a scammer taking your money. Might as well take your money and your wallet and give it to them. Phone calls from numbers that are like yours, since you can both the email and a telephone number, I can make it look like anything that I want. So if I want to make it look like an area code within your area, I'll just make the text message or the phone call that I send look like that. So you can spoof or change it to anything. QR codes that sometimes direct you to a crypto ATM. So a crook or a organization may try and scam you into sending them money, and they make it easy. You just scan the QR code, and it'll take you right to the site where you put in your account and information, and they'll take your stuff there. Gift cards, $228 million in gift card scams last year. So don't be fooled by scammers asking for your information there. Okay, what do we got? We still got some. Let's go through here. We're going to put you through a test. So we covered some of this stuff pretty fast. This is an online test quiz to see whether this is a scam or true. So let's take the test here. We'll see how well you've been listening or watching here. Let's start with an email. Is this something your bank would ask? So here's an email. Dear member, there's been an unauthorized login of Pine Creek Bank. Please click here to secure your account information now. Scam? Okay, scam. You were right. It's a scam. Your bank would never pressure you to sign in with a link. They know that that's what scammers do, so they never send that out. You get a fraud alert about a payment app. Is this something your bank would ask? So this is Pine Creek Bank alert. Did you attempt a Zelle transaction in the amount of $3,500? Reply yes or no to decline it. Legitimate or scam?
Legitimate. I get them from Wells Fargo a significant amount of times. And they're absolutely accurate.
Legit.
Okay, so we've got kind of.
As long as you actually bank at Pine Creek.
Well, yeah, no, and that's good. That's good. No, we'll go through here. So we'll say scam. It is a scam, and the reason it is a scam, if you probably didn't see here, this is a telephone number here. A legitimate business is never going to use a telephone number. It's always a 5-digit number. So even though Paul's correct, I get text from my bank and from my credit card with the notifications that there's been a charge or that. But if it comes from a telephone number, that's a scam. And if you start replying back, what happens is the minute you reply yes down here or no down here, you're going to get a telephone call immediately. The scammer on the other end knows that it's got a hook on the line, it's got a fish on the line, it's got a possible person there, and they're going to start talking to you, and they're going to get your account information. They're going to start taking over, and people think they're talking, so if this said U.S. Bank or Wells Fargo or that, you would be scammed. You're going to lose money there.
I get messages, but never ask you to respond. It just says, gives you the charge. And if it's not legitimate, contact the bank.
Right, and you can contact the bank, again, by looking at your statement, the telephone number, call that, or on the back of your credit card, or from the legitimate website that you know is your bank. Don't use the email, don't use the text, don't use somebody on the telephone. If somebody on the telephone is calling you, the bank is not going to do that. The bank is not going to do that, so you have to be very careful. And as they mention here, again, if this is not a 5-digit number up here, it's not a legitimate business. It's a scammer. Looks like another email, this time regarding account activity. Here's an update you requested for your account withdrawal. Here's a purchase on 6/11 for groceries, $43.83, and you have the information here. Who thinks it's legitimate? Or so we got 2 or 3. Who thinks it's a scam? Nobody thinks it's a scam? 1. We'll go legitimate. That's a legitimate one. So if you had signed up for notifications, you'll notice that in this particular thing, there's no telephone number in here to call anybody. There's no button to push to go out to a website. And the scammers want you to go out to their website. They want you to call their telephone number. And so banks will do this where they know not to put the information in there because that's what scammers do. Okay, now you're getting a call. Is this something the bank would ask? Hi, this is Joe from Pine Creek Bank. I'd love to tell you about our new high yield savings account. Do you have time to swing by the branch today? How many think it's legitimate? Okay, how many think it's a scam? Okay, we've got a couple there. Actually, that's legitimate because again, banks will call you about this. Now, they're not asking for any information over the phone. They're not asking you to click on anything, and they're saying, stop into the branch. Well, if you stop into the branch, you are going to the legitimate bank. You aren't going to the scammer's house. Now, if they said, drop by this, I'll be at the corner of 1st and Main at 2 o'clock, stop by and bring your money for the CD, that's probably a scam.
I hope that Joe was just really working there for the bank that day.
Well, that could happen there. Here's another email. Things are getting tricky. Is this something a bank would ask? Dear valued customer, due to recent activities on your account, we're placed a temporary suspension until you verify your account. Click here to verify your account now. Okay, I think that's and you got that one right there. That's a scam there. Banks will never ask you to log in via a text or an email there. It just, because again, they know that scammers and that are preying on people there. Is this something your bank would ask? Urgent. Pine Creek Bank needs you to verify your account information. Please log into your account below to verify your identity. Your account will be closed if you don't complete in 24 hours. Yeah. And you can see the URL link is sketchy there. It's got all kinds of information in here and not a valid page, or it's a hidden page, so you have a lot of trouble there. You're getting another telephone call. Hi, I'm calling to notify you that your credit card has been breached. Before we begin, can you please verify your identity with the name, address, and card number? Yeah.
What if we give them the wrong number and send them off on a wild goose?
I've had that. So the question was, what if we give them the wrong number? And I monitor a number of neighborhood sites. And I live in the Highland Park neighborhood and on Nextdoor and on our Facebook group. And people will say that. I give them wrong information and I try and keep them on the line as long as I can. And I say, you're just setting yourself up for a life of hell. Because what you're doing is you have to realize this other person on the other end of the line knows your telephone number and you have just made them mad. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to potentially call you 24 hours a day. They're going to put you on every list that they can put you on. Whereas if you just hang up and do nothing, you're not going to get this stuff. So go ahead, have fun, but recognize that you're digging your own grave is what you're doing there. But people will go, oh, it makes me feel good that I'm wasting their time and they're not talking to somebody else. No, you're just setting yourself up for all kinds of other problems there.
I did that though.
Well, I don't recommend it.
No, when they would call me, I'd have a portable radio there and I'd set it off kilter for a station so that you get the static. And I'd turn it on full and I knew they were calling me, and so whenever they call, I would just set down the phone, turn or telephone, turn on the radio, put the speaker right where they're gonna get blasted, and I thought, they're gonna get tired of that. Stop calling me.
Well, see,
And they
you
did
made them
for a
mad. You
while.
made them mad. That's why they
I
were
did,
calling
and
you.
it felt so good.
Well, if that's the approach
But
that you
now,
want.
twice a day, I
So
get,
on my
every day, I get calls that nobody
I don't
says.
get calls all the time, and plus it's a case of it's on your phone. Put in your family and friends into your contacts, and then you can set your phone to only ring when a family or a contact calls you. Otherwise, it goes directly to voicemail and it never comes through. So that's a way of screening my calls. I don't have to pick it up. I don't have to do anything. If it is, let's say, heaven help, a family member goes into emergency room somewhere, they'll leave a message and I can, contact them there. But that's a way to cut down on your calls, cut down on information there. So, well, you can have your fun. So does this look legitimate? Pine Creek Bank, your one-time access code, 6-digit, enter online to verify your identity. Pine Creek Bank will never call or legitimate or scam. Legit. There's your code up there, so we know it's a legitimate company that's doing this, and they aren't having you link. There isn't a link here. They're saying use your bookmark, use your link that you used in the past to log into your account and do things. So you can keep yourself safe there. So with a little help, we got you all through there. The other thing that I was going to show quickly, I think we got a couple of minutes there. Let me go here. So these are spams. It's just a cross section of spams that I've gotten, that I've collected, and I've never opened them because they've either gone directly into my spam bucket, but I've saved them here. But you'll get messages about T-Mobile, we've been trying to contact you, packages to deliver, Cash App, did you transfer this? Costco, I've won. I don't know how many things I've won over the years that I haven't claimed. I've probably won the Mega Millions, and even though I don't play it, I've probably won it there. But you'll see all of these are different scams that you have. Even the iCloud, you're running out of space out on your Apple storage, and people will click on it. And again, if you think that there may be a problem with your iCloud storage, use your other links to log into your Apple account. Go out to your storage and see how much you have. Don't click any links. Don't call any telephone numbers. Don't respond to these types of things.
Do you even have a Costco membership?
No.
Yeah.
So this I say, it's easy to feel that scams and threats are beyond hope. So I get people with data breaches. They go, oh, what can I do? There's constantly these breaches and data going there. And so they're living in fear of everything. I don't live in fear. I don't let any of this stuff bother me. I just do things to help protect me. And if you do some of these tips and some of these other things, you can protect yourself. Use your standard links, use password managers, do all these things. You're more than protected there. Your chance of getting scammed goes from 100% down to maybe 1% or 0%. So it's really you who can protect yourself. Yes.
I don't know if everybody knows the donor advisor fund.
Yep.
And put up whatever dollar amount, stock, whatever you want to donate. And it's your account that you can at any time send it to whoever you want. They have a list and they'll verify that they're legit. And then if you have your $500,000 you're going to donate over time, you can do it all at one time. You can still
have a quick one. Nowadays, we're inundated with all these rewards that we've earned. And I noticed that even on Capital One, each time, and I never accept it because I was raised by Depression era people who said there's no such thing as a free anything in the world. So what would, now I've got this amount built up that I'm not accessing because my sense would be one side got sucked into those rewards, it just opens up a Pandora's box of a whole lot of other things.
Yeah,
So
the question
rewards,
was rewards.
I don't ask for the rewards. It makes me mad that the whole world is based on rewards nowadays. How do we get, I guess, through these intrusions that we don't want?
I would go to Capital One in Mall of America, they'll give you a free cup of coffee, and you can ask them right there. And 'cause I get Capital Rewards.
Do you accept them?
Yes.
Oh, and now what has it led you into?
Linda,
Well, they,
I might have a
Linda.
debit card.
so
Linda,
legitimately, they'll do.
Linda,
Linda.
Capital One. The rewards are real. You can use them as like a credit. They'll give you dollars for what you've already earned them from Capital One by using your charge card. Also, you can use them for like Amazon. So I mean, I do
So
that.
those are legitimate rewards. How about Microsoft?
If you
They want to give
if you
rewards
have a Capital One card,
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
let Tom respond to the people.
yeah. So number one, if you get an email and from Capital One and you don't have a Capital One credit card,
also. Oh, that's
don't
not
click
the
on
issue.
it. Or a
That's not the issue.
Costco and you don't have it.
Microsoft wants to give me rewards all the time.
No, Microsoft does not give rewards.
Where are they coming? See, I don't accept
That's a
it.
scam.
Is it through the Microsoft?
No. I can say I'm Joe Biden. That doesn't make me Joe Biden.
Well, when I'm using my Microsoft.com,
Microsoft.com, what are you paying on Microsoft?
pardon me,
What are you paying? You don't have a credit card with Microsoft.
I have nothing. They're just saying they're giving me rewards. That's why
That's
I
it.
don't touch
That was all that I showed there. Those are all scams. They're trying to get you to click on something. If you think you've got something, let's say it's Capital One, log into your Capital One or use your Capital One app on your phone and go into your account and it'll show you a reward in there. And I could convert it and I could pay. But if you don't see your reward there, never click on any email. So if I have a Capital One account, I'm never going to click on an email that says I have a reward. Just don't click on these things. Go out to Capital One on
That's
your
where I'm
phone.
seeing it, is on Capital One. So then that whole Microsoft reward stuff is a bunch of scam things?
Yes.
Okay.
Microsoft doesn't. What was the other?
Why don't they get rid of that so that they're not letting other people be vulnerable to
Yeah,
these
you can't
scams?
make any money.
Why do they support it?
Who supports?
Somebody
Oh, I
in
don't
there-
have that much. You
Somebody
can
asked
spend a lot of
before
money.
about EIN. I personally have an EIN that I use for a club that I run. So,
Yeah,
you wanna give me $10,000, I'll take it.
Yeah, Chuck is
Don't
mentioning.
rely on EIN.
Yeah, EINs, and that's why it's best to check out for charities. Check out these sites for the total picture because I can be registered with the state. I can create a new nonprofit today, and I think I don't know what it costs, $100 or something like that to register with the state. So I can say Tom's Pet Rescue
And set up an EIN.
and set up an EIN. I did it when my mother died. I go online. I can create 1,000,000 of them if I want, and it doesn't cost anything. Those don't even cost anything. Yes, Hal.
Just a few weeks ago, Graham sent out an email to assuming all stockholders with a very suspicious attachment that had 325 pages. And I looked at it, and finally opened it up. I said, well, I don't know. But if we looked at it, it's very, very useful. Obviously, written carefully for our attorneys. About, who gets stock and, executive comp and all the rest of it. If you read that thing, you haven't reached it.
Can you give us the 25-page synopsis?
Now,
I missed out on what you were reading because I think you were confused about what's on there. What did you read from the back? Oh, that one from 3M, that was a long one. Yeah, did you read all of it? Did you understand it?
yeah, the discussion was on 3M email about some of the stock and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I guess I didn't get it, and my recommendation for the last 4 years, 5 years is sell all your 3M stock. Really, it's not a good investment. The future does not look bright. The lawsuits will continue. It'll slowly collapse 3M down to almost nothing. Now, if you have stock options, certainly keep those and see if you could exercise and make some money. But if you're any other way, don't invest in, and I used to have a coffee cup on my desk. It said, what is it? You're important to us, Enron. If people remember Enron, people invested all their money, or the employees invested. They could buy shares of Enron and that, and they invested everything that they could in there, and most of the people ended up with zero at the end of the day there.
I sold all my stock.
Yeah, and if you've got anything in a 401k or any of that, you have the right to, where 3M matched in 3M stock, you can take it out of there and put it into S&P 500 or put it into something like that. Get it out of 3M as quick as possible.
But your pension is safe.
Your pension is semi-safe.
Because it's guaranteed.
It's funded. No. Well, yeah, the discussion is the pension safe? The pension is funded to a certain level. If 3M went belly up tomorrow, we would all be at risk. All pensioners, you would get something, you just aren't going to get 100% of what you have.
Yeah, there's a federal program that would take over.
And the federal program doesn't pay 100% of what you're owed. Now, 3M has funded, but the funding, the minimal funding levels that 3M has to keep it at is a relatively, I forgot if it's like 80% or something like that.
The program only pays some percentage.
Yeah.
It's not 100.
Right.
I don't remember exactly.
Yes.
Tom, you talked about freezing your credit account. There are some cases where they need to be unfrozen. For example, when we signed the lease, they do a credit check. And if the credit is frozen, they can't find that information. So they actually asked us, could you unfreeze them for a week or a few days?
Or 20, a lot of times it's 24 hours. And then, let's say you want to go buy a car, and then ask the dealership that you're at which credit union they're going to check with, and then you basically get a hold of that credit union via either your phone or email, or you just call them, and they'll unfreeze it for 24 hours. Yeah, I think they call it thaw.
Yeah, I'll repeat it for the people. The question was asked. In some cases, after you freeze your credit with the three companies there, if you are going to apply for credit or a credit check is going to be done, you do have to unfreeze it. And the unfreezing, that's another good reason to use a password manager, because when you froze the account, you were given numbers. How many of you have those numbers? Well, few have the numbers there, but you have to have those numbers to unthaw it. Otherwise, it's a more lengthy process to unthaw it. So you want to have those numbers so that you can unthaw it when you do need a credit check done, or you do want to apply for a new credit card or things like that. So there are valid reasons to unfreeze it, but then freeze it back again as soon as you're done.
And don't feel bad. I go to the dealership and it's like, shoot, I forgot to find out who they use. And then I just go back
And they'll contact you if you were buying the car and they checked and And I was mad at them because they attempted to, and I said, I'm paying cash for this. What are you doing going out there? Oh, we do it for everybody. And I said, no, you're not doing it. So okay, you can challenge them. You don't have to. I mean, if I was applying for a credit card, yes, then I would unfreeze it. But in this particular case, that they don't have to know. What do you mean? Why are you checking my credit? You don't need that.
I was just gonna say also on Facebook, if you're a person that has to have lots of friends, if you get a friend request, before you would answer or click on it, check to see if they're already in your friend list. Because if they are, then that one coming in isn't as bad.
Yeah, I get questions a number of times, probably within the last 2 or 3 years, probably 5 times. People have said my Facebook account has been hacked, and I tell the people, I say, no, your account has not been hacked. Somebody has created an exact duplicate of you. So they all, because I can copy all your photos, I can copy your about information, and I can create a new account with exactly. So I'd create one for Linda there, and I can create it for Linda Thomas, and people will go, well, how can there be 2 Linda Thomases? And I go,
There's not even one on Facebook yet. I don't know how that would work.
I bet there's over 1,000 Linda Thomases out there because this is around the world. And that's the
But
thing.
none that I have
Facebook has no way of saying that that's your name. So if I create a new account out on Facebook, I could go out there today and I could create one exactly the same as Ken's or that. I can copy all the information. Then what the scammers do, so the scammers do this because Ken has 2,000 people that are friended him. If I create a new one and I send a message to them and now they friend me, I'm going to post out there, I just saw this tremendous investment opportunity in cryptocurrency. Click on this link. So that's what this person will post. And the friends think it's Ken posting that, saying this is a good deal. So they get a few people to click on it. They scam a few people. They make money. Didn't cost them anything. So it didn't cost them anything to create that fake Facebook account, and yet they make money. And the reason they continue to do it is because they make money. If people would not friend and do things, you'd have a deal.
You'll never guess who just died. That is another Facebook
Yes.
scam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the Facebook scam on who died, or click on the article, and
You click on it.
45.
yeah.
Start wrapping up.
So I think we're going to wrap up. A good discussion. I don't see anything online, so that's okay. Hope everybody got some tips, and the people here got their sandwich. So we'll see you next month then. Thank you.
Thank you.
Give me 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, sandwich on.